Welcome to Long Island TikTok. I'm Gabby, and this is
Priscilla.
And I'm Vinny.
And we're here with Kelly Trotta. Welcome to Newsday. And why don't you start by telling us how you got started on TikTok?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. I'm Kelly. So I started on TikTok because my friend Maddie Schrader, also known as Mubi on TikTok, she began starting her own channel her junior year in college, so 2023. She created TikToks every day, just showing little snippets of her life. She personified her audience, calling them gyms, creating a really big community feel. She really stayed authentic to who she was throughout it, just being silly, being innovative, being fearless and not scared to show who she really was. And then the following year, senior year, we moved in together, and she needed a cameraman, and I was there. And together we would run around Poughkeepsie in Marist College, and we would create videos on stumps or on our roof, just bouncing energy off of one another. We made a lot of dancing TikToks, and in those dancing TikToks is when people began to recognize me in the comments, and they'd be like, who's your friend? Like, who's this girl? And so then we put a name to it. My name became Smelly Kelly. And after that, I created my own channel, and my friend Maddie, she works at Barstool Sports. She's interned there last summer and then was offered a job in September that she took. And I guess Dave had been tracking her progress. She had a pretty big leap this past year in 2024. She went from about 200,000 followers to now 890,000 followers.
Wow.
So yeah, big jump there. And one day, we're literally just finishing up our finals, sitting on our porch on a May day, and Dave Portnoy calls her and asks, like, hey, Moobs, like, just checking in, like, how's school's going, how's finals, yada, yada. And then he's like, so I wanted to ask you about your right-hand man. And she's like, who, like Kelly? Like, or he's like, yeah, Smelly Kelly. Like, what's she up to? Like, what's her next steps? And she's like, oh, like, she's actually studying to be a teacher right now. Like, she's actually studying for her certifications as we speak. And he's like, okay, cool. Like, do you think she has any interest coming to Barstool? And after that, you know, she hangs up the phone, comes back over to the porch, and she's laughing so hard I thought she was crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she's like, Kelly, like, Dave was actually asking about you, and he wants you to join Barstool and become part of the Mubi team. And I was like, easy answer. Like, I would love to be a part of that. Like, I'm in my 20s. Like, why not? Like, I'm going to work and hanging out with my best friend every day. Like, that's a pretty ideal situation.
I called up, talked to Smelly, Kelly, whatever, and you were like ready to go. You're like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. So in the blink of an eye, you're now in the content world.
Bada bing, bada bing, bada boom right here.
So then I started really working harder on my channel and just being consistent within my own post. I follow a lot in Mubi's footsteps. Like, she's such a good role model, even though she's younger than me. Like, I still like look up to her in every sense. She's so creative and like her videos and like knows how to target her audience so much. So I kind of just followed way, and yeah, now we're here and 3 months in, and yeah, we have a lot up and coming.
Wow, amazing. That's such a crazy storyline from start to finish.
Mm-hmm. They literally say it's like an anomaly. Like, it was like all of a sudden I'm going one way, and then it's like sharp left turn, and now I'm here.
Number 44.
Woo! 44, that's me! Get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts. Woo! Give me some!
So how long did it take you to make that decision, or was it instantaneous?
It took about I think I literally waited 2 days. I think I called every member in my family and was like, what do we think about this? And it was crazy because people were like, well, did you anticipate this? Like, did you think that this was something that was gonna happen? And I was like, no. Like, we were just fully joking around. Like, I was just happy to be helping her out and, you know, be that proud right-hand man. Like, I wasn't really doing it for myself. I just, like, loved to see her flourish, and, like, it kind of became, like, almost like an addiction where, like, now together we'd go run around and be like, well, we can make this into a TikTok, or, like, this would be hilarious. Like, there was this one, we got, like, a bunch of Hubba Bubba gum, and we were like, perfect. Like, this will be perfect for a TikTok. Like, we can definitely do something with this. So, yeah.
So explain the whole Smelly Kelly name. Like, how did that even come about? And why did people start that in the comments?
So basically, just to preface, it's not because I smell. I don't actually reek. It has nothing to do.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Yes, please. So literally, it was because it rhymed with my name. And in one video, Maddie called me Smellington. And, like, we were just joking around. And she's like, Smellington, like, come over here. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whatever. And so I came in, and then it just stuck as Smelly. And at some points, I look back, and I'm like, I probably could have switched that. Maybe I could have done Jelly or Belly or something else. But here we are, it's Smelly, and I'm just going to roll with it.
Are you fine with that name?
Yeah, I'm like, as long as it's out there that I don't actually smell, it's okay. Also, I feel like the mystery is kind of a lure, so brings people in.
That's true. What about the name Jim? Why did that become a thing? And why did she start telling people that they were Jims?
So basically, like, it was, like, we played lacrosse together in college, and some of those practices would be extremely long, tiring, brutal. And to make light of it, she started calling everyone just Jim on the field. Like, when we'd say it in these southern accents, we'd be like, yo, Jim, give me the ball. Like, Jim, come over here. And, like, it caught wind on our team really fast. And now everyone was calling everyone Jim, to, like, the point, like, where my coach was like, if you're calling everyone Jim, like, we don't know who you're passing it to because you're all Jim. And then she just carried that over into her TikTok and, like, personified them as Jim. But, like, it just made everyone feel connected. So, like, when people see her in public, it's like, yo, Jim, like, hey, Jim, and, like, kind of gives everyone, like, a similarity, like, brings them
Right.
together.
It's kind of like a grouping, like Alex Cooper's Daddy
Yes.
Gang,
Yes.
or like Lady Gaga's Monsters. So that's really
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
What should we call your audience? Do you have a name for them?
Maybe the Stinkies? Maybe I need to put a little more thought into that one.
We'll table that one for now. So talk a little bit about your teaching degree and what were you planning to teach eventually?
Yeah, so I was at Marist College, where I was a childhood psychology 1 through 6 major. And I was literally, like, that day, I was literally deciding between if I was going to apply for my master's for special education or general education. I have always had a passion for being in a classroom and inspiring students, which I actually, like, feel like I carry over so much, because it's like that creativity that was in teaching is now, like, what I just bring over to
Content creation.
my exactly. So yeah, like, I think at one point, like, I always say this, like, I'll go back to teaching, you know, like, maybe, like, after, like, I have a family and I retire, I'll go finish my master's and get back on that track, because I don't think that it's really going anywhere. But yeah.
Were you planning to teach on Long Island?
Yes, I did. I wanted to teach on Long Island. I actually wanted to teach in the city for a while, like in public schools in the city.
Okay.
But my parents wanted me to steer more towards Long Island and start there, just 'cause they're like, you're familiar with it, it's close to home, and, you know, we know a bunch of the schools around here. So I actually, for a while, worked at an after-school program at Shelter Rock Elementary School in Manhasset, where I just helped kids with their homework and after-school activities where their parents were still at work, and just helped them navigate those tired days after school.
So what's your goal with social media? Now that you have been trying to build your own brand from your friend, and now you're trying to be your own personality online, what are your future goals with that?
Yeah, so I think that the path that I'm currently on right now, me and Maddie actually just announced we're going on this Cheez It college football tour where we're basically going to these big football games this whole fall, and we're going to have a lot of interactive experiences with a lot of college students. So, I'm starting there, and I feel like once I'm there and people can get a feel for my personality and I can interact with them and immerse, that from there on, then I'll continue to grow and build. I don't want to stop at short-term content. I would love to move into long-term content and get into YouTube, possibly start a podcast. We have a couple of 2025 content ideas coming up,
Cool.
which is exciting. I think like in the beginning, for these next year, 2 years, I'll definitely continue to work on Mubi Inc. is what we call it, on Team Moobs. But at some point, I think that I'll start venturing my own path alongside her rather than maybe just like right under her. Maybe even do some stand-up comedy or something like that.
So what is your strategy like when you're posting to social media? Because a lot of your content is very comedy based. So how do you come up with these ideas?
A lot of the time, it's just really spontaneity. It's like, like maybe like I'm walking through the park and I see, like the other day actually, I was in the city and there was this woman with all these pigeons around her, and like there's a song like Birds of a Feather, and like kind of just all like clicks together, and I'm like, this is a perfect video content idea.
So you just followed her around?
Yeah, I literally just walked up to her and I was like, hey girl, like, can I get in a TikTok with you? Like, do you mind? Like, is that okay? And then
And she was about it?
And she was so about it. She was like, yes, like show the world that like pigeons are kind and sweet. And I'm like, I can help you do that if you help me do this. Like, that's perfect. But yeah, a lot of the time, like, I think I just really try and stay true to myself. In the beginning, when I was starting it, like, I really had no presence on social media before this. Like, if you looked at my Instagram, it's all birthday posts, and on my TikTok, it was private, and it was like a lot of just like solo dances and stuff like for my friends that like I would be doing. So in the beginning of this journey, I think that like I kind of strayed away from myself a little bit and like was trying to like do TikTok trends and stuff like that. But I realized as I've been going through this that staying to myself and being authentic and like talking to the camera or talking to the audience, they get a better feel for who I am, and like that's what the whole goal is, like people come on for an escape, people come on so they don't feel alone, and like that's what you try to provide. And I do always try and keep it on the silly side because like I think that like is who I am. But actually the other day, like me and Maddie did a TikTok where we got a little more serious and talked about mental health and for athletes and upcoming seasons. So I think it's just like whatever I'm passionate about, whatever catches my eye is kind of what guides me.
How long does it take you to work on content? Do you have like a certain schedule where you're like, these are the days that I'm filming, these are the days that I'm editing, or is it kind of just like the way that you come up with your ideas? Like I thought of this idea and I'm going for it right now.
Exactly. It's like literally like it's right in the moment. Like I'll have an idea, I'll make the video, and then I'll sit down and edit that video.
Okay.
For more of the long-term stuff, it's more planned out for sure. Like, for instance, with this Cheez It thing I was talking about, like, we had to go up to Poughkeepsie and Marist College, so we had a day planned for that, and we brainstorm our ideas, write out some scripts, and we have usually a videographer with us who helps us just capture our vision that we're looking for. And then from there, like, it's usually sent to, there's editors at Barstool that'll do like those bigger edits. But that's actually something that I'm also trying to learn and add to my resume, editing, because like it really is such like a cool job and can really like build to your social media, if you can get those slow-mo effects and whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the Cheez It or football games, are you planning to go to like all colleges that have big football teams? How is that? How are you doing something like that in such a short time?
So basically, the schools haven't been released yet, but we're going to 6 different colleges. I think it's like 2 per September, October, November. And basically, Cheez-It has sponsored us to go around and find the cheesiest fan section of all time, or the 2024 student section of the year. And we created a bunch of different content ideas for each school that we're going to be going to, like what lures us in, how we can get those students involved, how we can prove who's the cheesiest. So yeah, that's basically what we're just doing over the course of these next 3 months.
Amazing. And can you tell us anything about the podcast that you have planned?
So right now, one of the podcasts that we have working on involves a lot of the Barstool girls in the office, and it hasn't been released yet. We've just really been chalking up ideas and such like that. But for the podcast that me and Maddie plan to create in the future, I think that we were hoping after this tour and we'll have a better idea of what specifically we want to talk about, especially because I feel like podcasts right now are very saturated, so we just don't want to be on there talking about our everyday. We want to be on there with a specific point, so hopefully after this we'll have a better gauge on what that point will be.
I like that because I feel like I understand the concept of having a tag team for podcasts because it seems like that's so popular and it works so well. And obviously Dave knows what he's doing with that for several reasons. But I like the concept of going in with a plan because sometimes I'm listening to a podcast and I'm like, where are they getting with this?
Yeah.
Or what's happening here? So it's really cool.
How familiar were you with Barstool before you joined their team?
So I knew obviously what Barstool was, and I knew Dave Portnoy. I feel like everyone honestly knows Dave Portnoy. He's awesome. But I really was familiar with it through Maddie. I was following her throughout her entire internship. I mean, that summer she went in every single day to the Barstool office, and she would tell us these stories or try and explain what she was seeing in that office, and I couldn't picture it, I couldn't visualize it because it's just nothing no other office I've ever heard of or
But in a
been
good
to.
way,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
in the best way, in the most fun way ever. The things that they would do during the day, they'd have different Barstool games, where they're going out to go play flag football or going to go play basketball or whatever it was. Or she would just be sitting in on the KFC radio podcast and typing up what they're saying or helping with edits, and it was just such a different world, and it was so cool to listen to. I never thought that I'd be a part of it, but now here I am, which is amazing. But yeah, I wasn't a stoolie, I wouldn't have called myself that. Now I am, but no, then I wasn't. So.
And did you ever think that Dave Portnoy would ask for you personally or notice you at all?
No, I never thought. We joke about that all the time, thinking about when he made that call that he was sitting on a dock in Miami, thinking about Smelly Kelly. And I'm what is
Amazing.
life right now?
So how is it working with him?
I haven't had numerous interactions with him just on BFFs.
Also, I liked when I originally was talking to Moobs about Kelly, and you were actually, Moobs, you're which is very sweet. You're she's the one who was always kind of no, we have to do that again. That has to be better, which is super cool when it's your profile at the time, not hers, that she was kind of just blowing up.
And I actually saw him at the Saratoga track races, but he, he makes a hire. He said, I trust you. I'm not going to be monitoring you. I'm not telling you what to do. You got yourself here. Find a way to make content. Find a way to stay engaging. Continue to be productive. Always take opportunities. So yeah, he's very much of he hires the talent, but the talent it's their job to further continue.
And that's honestly one of the best kinds of managers.
I don't think that like if he was micromanaging our every post that would be beneficial. And also, like you said, like he's instilled so much confidence in us because it's like, you know, if your video does really well, you know,
He'll hype you up.
yeah, but then like if it's doing bad, like you're not getting an email that's making you sweat or, you know, like freak out about it. So
Have you met Miss Peaches?
I have not, but
Oh
that
my
is on the
gosh.
bucket list to meet Miss Peaches. I feel like that is a must.
I love her.
Yeah, she is. That was like, I feel like the best thing to happen this year was Miss Peaches' introduction to social media.
She just was at a gala in Southampton,
Yes.
and she had like this extraordinary dress. Like she was just a princess.
Yeah, she looked beautiful.
Do you feel though that since you have that freedom, like has joining Barstool like kind of, are you still allowed to be creative, or do you feel like that's changed the way you kind of make your social media videos?
Not really at all. Like because, like I said, we have all the creative freedom we want. If anything, I think like working at Barstool just opens up more opportunities because people are always pitching ideas to you. People are always looking to help, or you know, talking about different events that me and Maddie could go to continue to flourish or to continue to be creative and engaging. That the whole office there, like everyone, like they're all creative in their own ways, and everyone's helpful and looking out. So it's a really good environment to create content.
And it helps grow your audience, I'm sure, being
Yes.
connected to that. And I know we were talking about, you know, Maddie's audience and how she's kind of got that fan base. Are you starting to see that? And how much are you interacting, like, with your audience, with your commenters? Do you think that's important?
Yeah, so I'm definitely starting to see like more people engaging like for me more personally versus like just being the sidekick. And I try and comment back to almost everyone, especially at like a starting base where I'm at right now. I think that like it's important to show that like we're in this community together. Like, you know, I don't think like one's here and one's here. Like this is like a platform that we all share. So yeah, and also too, like I'm so appreciative of everyone that like comments and like wants to be a part of the community. So I think that it's like important to show the appreciation.
Do you feel like you've now made it on social media now since you've gained such a following on your own now, as opposed to simply just, you know, making content with Maddie?
I don't know if I like necessarily made it yet. I think that like the projection within the next year. But I feel like that's like also like another thing, like everyone, you know, you always want to keep going and keep growing. So I don't think yet. I think that, you know, once I hit like 100,000 followers and then, you know, then I'm going to want to hit 200,000 followers and then continue to grow. Like, will I have made it at 1 million, or is it going to be like 2 million after that? So, yeah.
Always working towards
Yeah,
a goal.
exactly.
I feel like, I mean, when me and you were first starting to talk, when we first looked at your profile, you had like under 10K followers, and then now it's like over 50K. So you had a really big jump in just a matter of probably 2 months, which is, I think, pretty crazy.
Yeah,
That's a really big jump.
Did that happen like basically overnight, or like was there a video that you posted that, or something that happened that kind of jumped your following? Or?
Yeah, I think like a big part of it was definitely Maddie. I mean, like she's so supportive, and like she would always repost my videos, and like especially in the beginning, like she was helping me edit and, you know, come up with good content ideas that would be attention grabbing. But I think like the big part of the jump too was like announcing that I was also working at Barstool, and that tie-in played. And then it was like attending other events, like even just being in the office would grab more people, or it would also be like we went to these beer games in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like a big thing, because then I think like it reached a whole other part of an audience where then people like saw a different side and more like real life, because it wasn't like, you know, a camera in my face and I was like presenting something I knew what I was going to say. It was just like off the bat or whatever was.
Like reality TV.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that brought a lot of people in too. But yeah, I think it also just was with consistency of posting, and yeah.
So it seems like not only Maddie's been really supportive of you, but the whole company has. Is it safe to say it's been a really positive culture since you've joined Barstool?
Yes, 100%. I think that everyone's always reaching out, emailing, trying to help you with more opportunities, trying to get you further out there, further promote you, further monetize, publicize you. Like everyone has a hand in of helping with that, like even down to the security man in the office. His name's Dan, and like I think he's like might be like my biggest supporter. Like
Oh my
every day, like
gosh.
asking me about the following, always saying like keep it up, like oh that's funny, or like you got this, like just very reassuring. Like it is a very positive environment, which is so helpful because sometimes online, it can be such a negative environment, and there can be a lot of people out there, especially like when you're posting entertainment, that don't think your videos are funny or don't necessarily like the way you look. So it's like nice having that support because of sometimes you don't always have that online.
So how do you handle that, the negative side of it?
Well, like I would like to say that I just brush it off and I don't look at it, but like obviously it stings, especially too like with the whole Barstool community. A lot of people, the Stoolies, are a part of Barstool that like are there for the sports and the camaraderie, and like that's not necessarily the content that I'm putting out there. So like sometimes like people can be kind of harsh, or like the fact that me and Maddie work together, like it'll be a lot of the fact like, oh, you're coattailing or stuff like that. But I try, some days it definitely gets me down, but then I remind myself to focus on all the positive comments because I think that all those outweigh the negative ones, and like those are the people I want to be a part of. I'm also a big blocker. Like this is my community, this is my platform. Like
Bye.
the people that want to be here, you are more than welcome to stay, but those who don't, like goodbye. And it's also like important to like I talk to Maddie about it, or I talk to my family about it, just get that reassurance. But I just think it's important, like at least I remind myself, like this is such an incredible opportunity, and I'm not going to let Todd from Indiana ruin my day or ruin this opportunity for me because he doesn't like the way my face looks. Like it's not worth it.
So you were talking about how you're constantly talking with Maddie and your friends and family about negative comments. What was your friends and family's reaction to you joining Barstool and just going into the social media space full time for your job now?
Honestly, everyone thought I was joking when I told them at first. Like my friends, like literally, like everyone was like FaceTiming me after I announced it. They were like, "Are you joking? Like, is this for real?" And I'm like, "No, guys, like this is actually reality." I thought when I called my family that like I felt like I was the one that was more hesitant out of all of them. Like I thought they were gonna be like, you just went to school for 5 years, to be studying to be a teacher, and like you're gonna throw that away. But they were so supportive, and they were like, this is your journey, and like everything happens for a reason, and we're so proud of you, and we're gonna be there and supporting you and have your back through every step of this.
You have cool parents.
Yes, I have really cool parents. Oh my God, my mom's like pitching me ideas all the time.
Really?
Yeah. She like loves it. Like we were talking about doing something with Uber, and she's like, we call my friend Maddie Mooby, and she's like, you call it like Moober, or like,
Oh my
like she comes up with all
Wow,
these
she's a
things.
genius.
Yeah. I'm like,
Write that
"All right,
down."
Mom." Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Have you used any of her pitches before for anything?
I haven't, but I'm going to.
Okay.
This video that I'm making tomorrow with the laughing cow cheese. So yeah.
Do they follow you on TikTok? Like, are your parents on TikTok?
Oh yeah, they are, and they also like I like really like, as I told you, like with the negative hate comments, like I don't pay attention to like really any of those. Like I just block them and don't look twice at it. But one day, like like sometimes like the people that'll go back at the people that are being unfriendly. And this guy Zio is going back saying like, and what are you typing this like out of your mom's basement, or like firing back like these random things. And I'm like, who's Zio? Like, what is this? My dad's name is Marzio. And it was him, and he created an account. And I'm like, Dad, like, we talked about this. Like, we don't pay attention to the haters. We don't give them attention because then they'll continue. Like, you're feeding into them. But yeah, so like they'll get on there and they'll protect me and like like my videos and hype
It's your
me
own
up.
little army. How
Yeah.
The Stinkies.
Yeah, exactly. They are OG stinkies.
You better watch out for Kelly's parents. They'll come after you.
Seriously. Yeah. They don't mess around.
Let's talk a little bit about the collaborations that you're working on. It seems like you have Cheez-It, Laughing Cow, Uber. How is that experience like? And do you reach out to them, or do they reach out to you?
Yeah. So another big sponsor that we're working on that I'm actually wearing right now are Hey Dudes. That's like one of our biggest things right now. But a lot of them reach out, especially if like, you know, we have this audience of 18 to 24-year-old females, which is like a brand like Hey Dude, you know, like they want to target them, or Cheez-It, like, you know, like we're in the still like young and can still do the whole college life. So it's like capitalizing on that part of our age, or the Laughing Cow. A lot of them reach out to me or to Maddie or to Barstool or whatever it is. But like we're, you know, we try to only work with the brands that we have interest in and are passionate about, or that we genuinely would use. Like with Uber, it's like Uber One, and it's like how to get discounts on Uber when you're a college student. And I'm like, I could have used that because I spent a lot of money on Uber, and I could have used a little discount code in those broke college days.
So basically looking for brands that stay true to your brand in a sense,
Yes.
that stay authentic to like what you are already trying to do on social media.
Exactly. Maddie actually just had this collaboration with Mad Happy, and they're really big optimists. And you know, it's about being so happy, and like she just like fits so perfectly into that it makes sense to be a part of. I think also too, like a big thing though for like anyone who's building their own platform or wants to be collabing is like reach out to these brands, because any publication is publication. So like if you have an interest in Snickers or whatever you're really passionate about, like reaching out to them and putting yourself out there and being fearless, like the worst thing they can say is no, is so important. And like that's what I'll do sometimes. Like if I want to work with a specific brand, like I'm not scared to reach out, you know, like they can look me up on social media, see what I have to offer, and then go from there and decide.
Do you have a dream collaboration that you want to do?
I don't right now at the moment, but like currently what I would really love to go to is the US Open, and I would love to.
Tennis?
Yeah, the tennis US Open. So if, you know, I reached out to them or a brand that's working with the US Open, and if they sponsored tickets, like that's something I would totally be
Why?
looking forward to. I love tennis. I love watching athletes be so passionate and pour their hearts out into things. I mean, they're also just like incredibly talented. Like I play tennis for fun with my friends, and we're high-fiving each other because we're getting our rally up to 97. But then, you know, these people are out here serving at 140 miles per hour, and it's just like such a inspiring thing to watch.
Do you have a favorite tennis player?
Probably it's a kind of basic, but probably Coco right now.
Okay.
Like she's just so much fun to watch, and she's like similar to my age. It's also like so crazy because these people, so many of the tennis players are so young.
Yeah.
That's just like so awesome. It's so cool like to see them all together and like watching them like learn from one another and collaborating together. Like it's incredible.
Let's keep talking about sports. I know you grew up on Long Island. Tell us about your life here on Long Island.
So I went to Manhasset High School, and I played 3 sports. I played soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. Both of my parents, my dad played baseball in college, and my mom played lacrosse and volleyball. I think she did cross-country skiing one year, too, in college. So it was, like, very athletic family. I feel like, too, in Manhasset, it's a very big lacrosse town. So, you know, everyone makes a joke, like, I was basically born with a stick in my hand. Like, so, yeah, sports have been, I mean, they've just created so much structure into my life. And it was 100% like, you know, in high school, that was my dream to play lacrosse in college, which happened, which was awesome. But, like, I just think sports, like, it gives you discipline. It teaches you about loyalty. It teaches you that, you know, like, you could work your hardest and you might not always win. Like, on my lacrosse team at Marist, COVID definitely took some hits on us, but our record averaged to be about 3-12. So we were not the strongest. We always said we might not have the best record, but we do have the most fun. And we, like, literally, like, we never won on a Saturday, which is, like, one stat that we always talk about. But, you know, like, we still trained just as hard as any other Division I athlete every day. And I think that, like, at times it was hard, like, losing a lot or, you know, putting in all this effort and not seeing the reward. But, like, I'm so grateful for it because I feel like it's taught me so much now. Like, you know, you can push for everything and you might not get it back, but, like, that's life and you have to find where the cup is half full.
Yeah, and I feel like that has a lot to do with how you're kind of leading your career right now.
Yeah, exactly, because it's like, you know, you might get pushed back, but you got to keep pushing forward.
Exactly. Let's also continue the conversation about collaborations. I know Maddie's thing with Caesar salads, that kind of became like an international thing.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that, and have you ever tried to incorporate your brand with the chicken Caesar salad?
So basically, chicken Caesar salad, I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but, like, growing up, like, especially, like, I feel like chicken Caesar salad was always the go-to. Like, you know, on the menu, like, if you couldn't read anything else, there was always the Caesar salad.
Yes, yeah.
That was the go-to. So she has, we have a collaboration with Just Salad, with Barstool, where, you know, like, I think that was big kicked off because of Movie's chicken Caesar salad bit. I think that for a while, because we had this other bit going on with the stump and sit on it, so we kind of strayed away, but I think we're definitely going to go back. And that was, like, when I was talking about long-term content, like, creating a YouTube channel, possibly, like, going around and trying a bunch of different chicken Caesar salads.
Okay.
It's so funny because, like, already, like, this past weekend, I was in Rockaway, and I'm, like, walking in the streets, and I hear, like, chicken Caesar salad. I'm like, oh, my God. And now I'm, like, yelling back. I'm like, you have chicken Caesar salad. And, like, it's just, like, such, like, a silly but, like, fun thing to be a part of. Yeah, so I think that we're definitely going to continue to eat those chicken Caesar salads.
Amazing.
Hopefully have more future collaborations.
Honestly, you do the voice pretty well.
I've been practicing a lot. I don't have the lip down though. She is that lip.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
It's like on the side.
Yeah, she like, it like goes out. Like, I don't eat. I'm like, I tried so many times. I would, like, look in the mirror. I'm like, I can't get it. Yeah.
So about your life on Long Island, you talked about sports and where you went to high school. What about where you used to hang out? What are some of your favorite spots that you would say if you were talking about Long Island to someone who's not from here?
A lot of my friends, like, so my high school friends, like, I'm still extremely close with to this day, which, like, I'm so grateful for because I know, like, not everyone gets that. And we actually all hung out together at Plandome Country Club. We were all on the same swim team, and I spent a lot of my days over the summer there. It'd be like, wake up, go to swim team practice, then go and play tennis together and come back and go to, like, afternoon practice, and then just, like, hang out at the pool all day together, you know, like, biking around town and stuff like that. Behind my house is this thing we call the Green. It's just, like, a huge grass field, and a lot of us would hang out there a lot of the time. Now, as we're getting older, you know, we've moved on and we go to Publicans, which is a restaurant in our town, or Greens, which is a restaurant in our town. I mean, our town's pretty small. It's only like a mile long, the actual town itself. So there's not like crazy places to hang out. A lot of it I feel like was like at people's houses and stuff like that. But I do have like favorite restaurants. Like a lot of the time, me and my friends, we love going to the beach, and we would go out to Long Beach a lot, where there's this amazing poke bowl place called Cherry Blossom that we're like obsessed with, or, you know, like grabbing Marvel, like a classic. And Must, stuff like that. But we also grew up like, because we're a 30-minute train ride going into the city, like we went into the city, like I think I've been going into the city with my friends since I've been like in 7th grade, like
Wow.
just like a weekend
pretty
thing.
early.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know what we did back then, like where we would go, or like, cause you know, now it's so different, but I'm like, I don't know what we did, but I think like we would literally go into the city and wander around Central Park for like hours all together, just cause we felt like mature and
Yeah,
cool.
I feel like that is a Long Island thing to
Yeah,
do.
especially the closer you are to the city, I feel like everyone just made
Exactly.
a thing out of it.
Exactly.
Now it feels like way too long for me.
Yeah, now I'm like sitting on the train going in, I'm like, this is not the same.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap it up a little bit. What advice would you have for people who are trying to make it on social media, who are trying to go into the same kind of space that you're currently heading towards?
I would say stay consistent, stay true to yourself. Don't pay attention to the negative feedback. Like if this is something that you want to pursue, then be passionate about it, show that passion. Don't let those people get into your head. Or also too, like the huge thing with the consistency is that sometimes you'll plateau and sometimes it's not always a peak, but that shouldn't prevent you from continuing to push, because who knows what video will go viral and where you will get attention. So I just think that like trying to post every day, trying to hone in on one specific type of content is really important.